What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today's story is going to be one that I've wanted to do for a while, and I've asked about it a few times in the community tab and it seemed that people do want this to happen. So obviously that panned out well because we're here right now. The synopsis is pretty simple. Instead of Grandpa Gohan finding Kakarot, Roshi's going to be the one to find him. All we have to do is make one little change of where he lands, and the entire story shifts as a result. Could one small change like that really affect the story that much? Well, we'll be seeing in this series. For this video, let's set a like goal of 4,000 likes. If we hit that, I'll continue with another part and make this into an actual story. Anyways, let's begin discussing the scenario. Right before planet Vegeta is destroyed, Kakarot is sent away, sent to planet Earth. Nothing changes about the planet he's going to, but he lands in a different spot than where he originally landed. In the grand scheme of things, especially in my videos, this is a very minor and realistic change. But such a simple thing can affect the story so much, and you'll be seeing what I mean. Kakarot's space pod eventually nears Earth, entering the atmosphere, and then finding somewhere to land. It crashes right in the middle of an ocean. Not too far away, Roshi is at Kame House. Turtle starts freaking out and they look outside, seeing a massive wave come towards them. A tsunami? That's weird. Roshi powers up. To defend Kame House and the island against the wave, he launches a full power Kamehameha that completely eviscerates it, even leaving a massive divot in the ocean. That's weird. He didn't feel an earthquake, but for a wave that big, there definitely would have needed to be one. And then he sees, through that divot that he created in the ocean, as water continues to fill it, he sees something not too far away. He also sees a streak in the sky, leading right to where that thing is. Is that a meteorite or something? He wants to go check it out, wondering what that was and why it didn't cause much more damage. If this was a meteor or something, it definitely would have left a bigger impact. And that's the thing too, it doesn't actually look like one. He couldn't really see from too far away, but it looked like a perfect sphere, something man-made maybe. They go out into the middle of the ocean, and they see a ball floating in the middle of the water. They pick it up, bringing it back to Kame House. They don't know what this could be. It could be something dangerous after all. Maybe it's a bomb of some sorts, a weapon sent by aliens. Well, it is a weapon sent by aliens, but not in the way that they think. Roshi looks inside the red part. Seeing that it's glass and inside, he sees a child. What the hell? It opens up, and immediately, the kid jumps out. He doesn't talk much, and Roshi's not sure what to think of him right now. Immediately, he throws a punch at Roshi, but Roshi's able to catch it pretty easily. The kid tries punching again, but Roshi's easily able to take control of him. He even tries hitting Roshi with his tail, and Roshi grabs the tail, noticing that it causes a weird reaction. This is a weak point for whatever this kid is. That'll definitely be useful info later. This kid's very rowdy, but by grabbing his tail, he can actually kind of control him. He calls two people over, his former students, Gohan and Ox King. He wants them to see this and give some input. This is weird, it's some sort of alien monkey thing. But he also looks so human too. After giving him food, he eats a bunch and he seems to calm down a bit. And it's weird. He's not really talking yet, but he seems grown enough to actually fight, almost like it's pre-programmed within him. Thankfully it was Roshi who found him. If it was anyone else that wasn't a martial artist, who knows what that kid would have done. It definitely seems like some sort of dangerous alien, but not incredibly dangerous. So, what the hell are they supposed to do with it? Roshi also mentions that he sees potential in this kid, but it seems that his nature is to be evil. He can even sense it within him. There's some sort of malice within him, but not entirely. It's not like he's pure evil, just dangerous. It's not like they can just kill him, it's some kid. Maybe some parents sent him here, and maybe they're gonna arrive here soon to get their child. That would definitely cause a lot of issues. Maybe it is an attack from outer space. And they go over all the options and decide, maybe it's the former. Maybe someone intentionally sent their child here to escape. Escape something, maybe. Planetary destruction? Who knows? It's just weird that a child was sent here alone. That actually seems like the most realistic option. And Roshi decides, he wants to raise this kid. At least for the time being, he's gonna keep an eye on him. Hopefully the parents do show up, if that's what's actually happening. Thankfully, Ox King's able to give him some tips. He knows Ox King does have a daughter. Although this is way different than raising a human child. I mean, he does seem human and he eats a human diet, but he's definitely some sort of alien too. There will be a bunch of differences that he needs to account for. Gohan and Ox King do visit occasionally, and see that Roshi's actually training this kid. Roshi's even giving the kid a name, Goku. But every time he calls this kid that name, he gets mad. He responds to it so he knows that his name is Goku. But it almost seems like he doesn't like the name. And as soon as he learns to speak, he says something pretty interesting. His name's not Goku, he actually does know a name for himself. It's Kakarot. Being raised by Roshi affected one huge thing here. I mean, Roshi lives on an island. There's nowhere to drop this kid like Grandpa Gohan. Kakarot never hits his head and never loses his memory. It's not like Roshi completely abandons the name Goku though. In his mind, this is Kakarot's human name. Hopefully one day he'll learn to accept it, but he'll oblige and call this kid Kakarot for now. Kakarot is very rowdy and aggressive at first, but he is a child so it's easy for Roshi to counter. Eventually, he begins to calm down a lot more, and Roshi's wondering, will his parents ever show up at all? It's weird because Kakarot actually does remember a bit. It's not much. He was in an incubation chamber for a while. So all he knows is things that he heard while he was in there, and even then he didn't really hear much, but he does have one vivid memory. From what he can gather, he does have a family. He has an older brother who he hasn't really seen. but his last memory of Planet Vegeta was his parents, and all he remembers is them telling him to survive. Of course, he's a kid. He has no idea what this really means, but Roshi takes this into account. It seems their theory was true. Maybe he was sent here as a survivor. Kakarot continues to grow up. And that Saiyan armor does suit him, but Roshi eventually does give him a different outfit, meaning he gets the gi of the Turtle School very early on. And even though this looks exactly like Goku, this is not Goku. Well, I guess it kinda is, but you know what I mean. Kakarot gets a lot stronger and stronger, and actually does grow closer to Roshi. Roshi gave him shelter and food, and the best part about Kame House is that he didn't really have contact with anyone else. If this Saiyan was left out in the wild somewhere, this definitely could have caused some issues. Maybe he would have made his way to a city and caused havoc there. But after years on end with Roshi, he actually develops a lot more. Of course, he still does have some of that aggressiveness, but he's a lot more controlled, and he channels that anger. He does love fighting after all, and with Roshi training him, he learns a bunch of new great stuff. He even spars with Gohan and Ox King a bit, and they even know his growth too. He can't even be that old by now, but he's already showing a bunch of promise. Around a decade has passed, and one day, an odd visitor comes by Turtle School. It's a woman. Because he's raised by Roshi, Kakarot definitely knows what a woman is, for better or for worse. Roshi's not really the best role model for that kind of stuff. But he does retain some of his Saiyan knowledge, and I'm not going to make Kakarot a creep here, he's way more respectful than Roshi. This girl's name is Bulma, and she's looking for the Dragon Balls. It's strange, because Roshi actually did tell him about that, but he doesn't really know much about them, besides that one that Roshi has. Also, Gohan and Ox King know about them too. She says she's going on a hunt for them. And now that Kakarot thinks about it, he hasn't really been off this island much. I mean, he has gone out to other places, but this interests him. It sounds dangerous. He likes dangerous. He asks Roshi, and Roshi says that this might actually be good for him. He'll allow Kakarot to go on this hunt, as long as he behaves. So, the two head out. Bulma learns that this kid is actually an alien. Weird, but kinda cool. I mean, they're surrounded by furries. Meeting an alien with a monkey tail isn't really that strange. And the hunt for the Dragon Balls is actually very smooth. Kakarot's been training consistently. Of course, Goku originally did train, but for some point of his life, he was orphaned. Kakarot here has had a mentor his entire life, essentially. He also has his prior knowledge as a Saiyan, and can control his power a lot better. He's also a lot smarter. Goku was a prodigy and was battle smart. Kakarot obviously does retain that, but he's also a lot more smart in terms of just pure intelligence. Him not hitting his head really did some wonders for him, and this makes him act a lot faster in battle, as well as a lot more effectively. Against every threat, he's able to protect Bulma pretty easily. Their journey even takes them to Gohan, as well as Ox King. And it's worth noting by now, Kakarot's probably already met Ox King's daughter, so he does know Chi-Chi because they already knew Ox King. She's been by the island, and they've even trained a bit too. It's nice seeing some familiar faces, but of course he does encounter different people as well, different threats, although he eliminates them pretty quickly. Thankfully, Yamcha doesn't meet the same fate. Of course, he does cause issues with Kakarot, but unlike the Pilaf gang, this guy doesn't seem evil. He's just a bandit, so Kakarot lets him live. Also, he's strong, which could be pretty interesting, and Bulma wants him to live too. So the hunt for the Dragon Balls is pretty easy. With Kakarot acting as a bodyguard, nothing bad happens. He ends up returning to the island, and life goes to normal for a bit. This experience was actually really great for Kakarot. He met a lot of people that he didn't know before, and soon enough, he meets someone else very important. Another child arrives on the island, looking to train with Roshi. Goku's surprised to see him here. At first he thinks he's a threat, but he realizes this is just a kid. His name is Krillin. He's come here to train. Kakarot can tell though. This kid doesn't really seem too strong, but if he's here to train with Roshi, he has potential. Maybe this could be his new rival. I mean, that Yamcha guy was strong and he seemed interesting, but he clearly wasn't trained as well as Roshi is. So imagine a human training under Roshi. He hasn't encountered someone like that yet besides Gohan and Ox King, but they're not even really training that much anymore. They are strong, but this is someone his age, someone he could relate to. And Krillin's excited as well. He hears that Kakarot's an alien. Weird, but cool. He's training with an alien, as well as one of the best martial arts masters in the world. This might be the start of a great friendship. Eventually, they even enter their first tournament. Of course, Kakarot is able to make it very far into the tournament. As I mentioned, he is stronger and he is a lot smarter, as well as retaining all the great properties of Goku from beforehand. It almost seems too easy, but Roshi kind of expected this. He enters the tournament under the name Jackie Chun, knowing that he needs to humble Kakarot. He can't get a win this easily. And it's very tough, but he is able to win. He knows all of Kakarot's weaknesses and his strengths, such as turning into a great ape, which luckily Kakarot knows about too. Jackie Chun's able to beat him, which actually does help Kakarot a bit. He's humbled. He realized that he isn't the top dog in this world. At least, not yet. Similar to the hunt for the Dragon Balls, the Red Ribbon Army arc is going to go pretty much just like that, in the sense that Kakarot's just going to kill everyone. I mean, it's his Saiyan nature. That's the best way to solve some problems, right? He expected a more fun fight, but against the Red Ribbon Army, nothing's really that bad, until they send Tao after him. This actually is a real fight for him, but with a great combination of strength and skill, and a grenade from Tao himself, Kakarot's able to overcome this foe, meaning there's no Red Ribbon Army left. Well, for the most part. Next, we go to another tournament, where he meets another very interesting opponent, Tenshinhan. Roshi's a bit concerned. He does want Kakarot to win a fight, But also if he wins here, who knows what Kakarot's gonna think like. He's gotten so strong and skilled by now. But surprisingly, he and 10 are a pretty good match, both in personality and in strength. Of course, he is a bit stronger than 10 by now, but both of them act the same way during battle. And that's what worries Roshi. He sees the similarities between the two of them. Kakarot shouldn't be acting like that. Not only is it bad in battle, but it's just bad. Although, something surprising happens. Kakarot and 10 actually take a liking to each other. Not only is it a fun battle in terms of strength and skill, but their personalities bounce off each other as well. 10 even comments on Kakarot. He's really strong and that tail's strange. Is he an alien or something? Well, Kakarot doesn't say outright, but he says he could say the same about 10. I mean, this dude has 3 eyes. Oh yeah, true. He didn't consider that as a two-way street. As this fight goes on, Kakarot eventually does end up winning, which concerns Roshi. He's gonna get too confident now. It's gonna get to his head. But the result of this fight is actually very good. 10's worldview changes, but more importantly, Kakarot's does too. He sees what Roshi's been saying this whole time. He's gifted. As a Saiyan, he's naturally stronger. I mean, look at him. He's a young teenager and he just beat this guy, who should be leagues beyond him. He has so much power and so much potential, and that power and potential should be used for good things. He's already very strong and he sees. He's above most other humans, but he has more enjoyment actually interacting with them. Of course, he does love battle, and this will make him more confident going forward in fights, but he won't let that get to his head. The most fun he has while fighting is getting to know his opponent. Well, as long as they're good guys. First it started with Yamcha. That guy was pretty interesting. He even showed up to this tournament. Then there was Krillin, one of his first big rivals. And now Tenshinhan. He was bad, but not really fully bad. 10 changed as a person, and Kakarot sees how interesting humans really are. He's seen this his whole life too. I mean, he saw this with Roshi, Gohan, and Ox King, and another one of his early rivals, Chi-Chi. It definitely changes his perspective going forward, which is good, because next, he's gonna face one of the biggest threats ever. Following the tournament, he's ready to celebrate, and he goes to find his best friend, Krillin, but he sees something terrible and unexpected. He tries to look away, but he can't. His friend Krillin is laying there dead. He immediately becomes enraged, but something snaps within him. As he sees Tambourine flying away, Kakarot feels a rage that he's never felt before, and he feels power surging through him. He jumps up, chasing Tambourine, and Tambourine can feel his power. For a brief moment, Tambourine sees Kakarot's eyes change color. They turn yellowish, and his hair, it spikes up, but it's a fleeting power. Tambourine's able to kick him away, with Kakarot being flung into a nearby forest, unconscious. By the time he wakes up, no one knows where he is. Others are fighting against King Piccolo and his sons already. Kakarot's a bit dazed, but immediately tries to find them. He can sense their powers. He encounters Tambourine once more on its way there, but this brings Kakarot's rage back, even more than before. And this time that power returns. He doesn't know what it is, but it completely overcomes him. And he undergoes a transformation. He punches, and it goes right through Tambourine's chest, killing him. But he knows there's others out there, and he'll defeat them as well. Krillin's death has awakened the wrathful form, where Kakarot summons the power of a great ape without transforming into one. Along his way, he encounters more of King Piccolo's sons, and King Piccolo can sense this power coming towards him. Right now he's about to face off against Roshi, but this power distracts them, and Roshi recognizes it. Is that Kakarot? They've been looking for him and they couldn't find him. But this power is insane, and the malice that they feel within. Kakarot arrives, seeing everyone stand off against Piccolo. Roshi tells Kakarot, don't fight, it's too dangerous, but nothing's gonna stop him. Krillin's already died, and he sees the rest of his friends injured and at risk. Roshi, Chaozu, Yamcha, Tenshinhan, as well as any innocent bystanders. This guy, he's responsible for killing his friend, and he might kill more. Kakarot showing off his true colors as a Saiyan, and immediately he goes to fight King Piccolo. But King Piccolo's strong, very strong. This isn't an easy fight. Even though the fights against his sons were easy, Kakarot actually faces a challenge here. Although, it's not like he's completely outmatched. No, it's more like they're actually pretty close in power. I mean, consider the fact that King Piccolo was still old here, and Kakarot got a huge power-up, as well as a little bit of a Zenkai. As he continues fighting and gets control over his rage, he starts getting a lead on King Piccolo, which is great because it keeps him away from the Dragon Balls, and Roshi doesn't even need to use the Mafuba, and Kakarot's able to finish the fight. This is his toughest battle yet, not only in terms of the actual fight itself, but everything that's at risk, the stakes here. Everything in his life is affected by this, as well as the life of everyone else on Earth, and he grows stronger as he fights, taking control of his form more and more, getting more enraged as it goes on. And just like all of his sons, Kakarot kills King Piccolo. He lands the finishing blow, and immediately, all that rage and power consumed catches up to him, as Kakarot falls unconscious in front of Roshi. And just as King Piccolo dies, he spits out something, an egg. Roshi and the others see it. Roshi tends to Kakarot while everyone else goes to see the egg. And Roshi's pretty surprised, not only at Kakarot's performance, but that outburst of rage. It's interesting. It's almost like he transformed, summoning some great power. He's not sure if that's good or bad. This kid is prone to moments of rage like this, to the point where he loses control. But also, he might be able to harness that power for himself. As everyone else goes up to the egg to see what it is, someone else arrives, and he looks exactly like King Piccolo. He introduces himself. It's Kame. And this is where we'll leave off for now. So, what did you guys think about this part? And what do you think is going to happen next time? Due to everything that's changed in the story, what else do you think is going to happen? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. If we hit that like goal from the beginning of the video, I'll make another part of the series and continue it onwards. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? As well as hitting that bell icon so you're notified about any future uploads on my channel, including any future parts of the series if I make them. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.